Today's question is, what worldly temptations represented by Babylon are we expected to come out of? So that's a mouthful, perhaps a little bit awkwardly phrased, but I think I get it. Babylon had a reputation for being bad, and the question is, how are we like Babylon, or what can we learn from Babylon? So, a couple things to know right out of the gate. Babylon is, I believe, a placeholder for world powers that misuse their power. So you might remember in the Old Testament, the Jews, the southern 10 tribes, the northern 10 tribes get overtaken by the Assyrians, and then the southern 2.5 tribes, they get pulled into exile, 6th century BC. They get pulled into exile in Babylon for 70 years. And Daniel and his friends have to be among those that are going to figure out how to live in this culture that was pulling them away from God. How could they live faithfully to God in a culture that was sort of lined up against them? And they do that. And as a matter of fact, 2 Babylonian kings will end up professing their admiration, if not their outright faith, in the God of Israel. And Peter will pick up on this and use some of this language about Babylon, and he'll use Babylon as a stand-in for Rome, which is what John does. So he's writing about the Roman Empire. He calls them Babylon. In the book of Revelation, John refers to Rome as Babylon. But that helps us understand that it doesn't have to be Rome. I mean, there's no Roman Empire at the moment. Western civilization is sort of collapsing, but there's different powers, different civilizations come and take power. And when they are misusing this power, they are Babylon. So I think it's just worth noting that the temptations that John alludes to, that he ascribes to living in Babylon, so idolatry and greed and sexual immorality and spiritual compromise and some sort of moral corruption, they were present in Babylon, and they are present today. And they're likely, arguably, harder for us to see today because they are dressed up in a culture that we have accepted. And so it's hard for us to see the water that we're swimming in. So take idolatry. Famously, we think we're too sophisticated for idols because we think of idols as, carved wooden statues that somebody is going to bow down and offer some sort of sacrifice to. But while we're a little bit more refined, we have our idols. And our idols could be things like chasing productivity, or trusting money more than we trust our maker, or rearranging our schedule to accommodate for sports events, but not for worship. So there's all kinds of ways in which we could say we are drifting towards Babylon. Revelation is full of warnings about doing this, not just about outright rebellion, but more, the bigger suggestion here is that the problem tends to be more accommodation, compromise, lukewarm faith. And Babylon is a symbol for that as well. And so it's a world system built around comfort, pleasure, power at the expense of righteousness. And of course, again, this is the air we breathe. This is the water that we're swimming in. So we will often say, well, we are being tolerant. And it depends entirely on how you're going to define tolerant. I'll just say that sometimes we're just lacking courage. And sometimes we are defending somebody else's right to believe something else, which is a good thing. One of the great things about America, about the United States, would be freedom of speech and freedom of religion, First Amendment kinds of things. And those can be really good. I want to underline those and appreciate those. But at the same time, tolerance is often just can be a code for a lack of convictions. And we are called to come out of Babylon. Again, the question that was sent in is a little bit awkward, but that is the language that gets used in the Bible. Come out of her, my people. So come out of Babylon. Don't be corrupted by that. So we just ask, what has a hold of you right now? What do you need to turn away from? What do you turn to when you're afraid? What are you tolerating that you should resist? So the good news is, of course, we don't have to face these temptations alone. We have the Word of God. We have the Spirit of God. We have each other to encourage one another to love and good deeds. But it may be that we have to name things. We have to be more specific about naming the kind of temptations that we're facing and getting called out of. And then turn and focus on the Lamb, not on the city of Babylon. So today, what are you being called to come out of? More importantly, who are you being called to follow? Let's follow well today. Have a good day.